So, just call out, what do you think you would see in a leader that you trusted? How would they behave? How would they behave towards you and the team that they led? How would you know that whether you trusted your leader? You trust your leader for a reason. Give you a start. Yeah, they don't put a spin on things. They tell you how it is. They tell you the reality of things. They treat you with respect. They don't just say, yes, I respect you. They actually demonstrate it. The words are easy, it's what you do that's important. Transparency, you understand how things are done and how decisions are reached. If something's not right, they fix it. There's often things that aren't right, not fair, wrong. So a leader you trust, he'll say, leave it to me, I'll get it fixed. And they fix it. They don't ignore it. They're loyal. You know, if you want, your companies want their employees to be loyal, but you've got to give loyalty back in the other direction. So a good leader is loyal to the people in his team. Leaders deliver the results. You know, you can't be credible if you never achieve your goals. Who can trust you to do so? You're always improving, continuous improvement to get better. You don't pretend circumstances are different. If things aren't looking good, you face up to it. You confront the reality. You know what's expected of you. Your expectations are clear. They hold you accountable. They have the conversations with you. They give you praise, etc. When you go to them, they don't just go blah and tell you how it is. They're good listeners. What's the rule for listening? You have 2 of these and 1 of these, so you spend twice as much time with these. And keeping commitments. There we go again. A person of integrity. And they extend trust. They show that they trust you. So these are the 13 behaviours of a high trust leader. They're all on your website. It comes from a book by Stephen Covey called The Speed of Trust. He's a very famous author. Now, so we're talking about trust and credibility. Trust comes from these things. It comes from your character, who you are. And believe it or not, you can't really change who you are. You know, you can pretend to be somebody else, but if you're not authentic in how you deal with people, they quickly see through it. So if you don't have integrity and you don't intend to do the right thing, then your character is lacking. If you don't keep your promises, then your character is lacking. If you're not open and honest with people, then your character is lacking. You can't really do too much about that other than go to the priest and say a few Hail Marys in confession because you've been bad. But this is who you are, and if you're on the wrong side of the ledger, your credibility will never be where it needs to be. Competence, on the other hand, how competent you are, comes from the capabilities, the skills, etc., and whether you produce the results or not. And these can always be developed. So if you want to be credible, half of the job is already done. You are who you are. Decide who you are. And be who you are. Don't look to the company to do anything about that. That's entirely up to you. But the company can help develop your competencies. And then all of that put together goes to credibility. This is a wee bit, tell my Scottish background, a wee bit difficult of a concept, but it's very, very applicable at home. And I'm just going to touch upon it briefly so you're aware of it. It's called the drama triangle. Sounds like an afternoon TV show. The victim, the persecutor. This is sometimes known as the victim triangle, but its proper name is the drama triangle. You've got a rescuer, somebody who sees like they're going to rescue people. You've got a persecutor and the victim. You can have situations where there's a rescuer, a victim, and a persecutor. Also, as people, as individuals, within the space of 5 minutes, you can go from being a rescuer, a victim, to a persecutor. Yourself. And every person in this room has a preferred starting point. If your natural tendency is to blame others and not take accountability for yourself, there's a lot of people like that, never my fault, it's always somebody else, you're a persecutor. Right? The persecutor, you would see them as the villain. Okay? The bad guy. The rescuer is the hero. And the victim is the damsel in distress. It's a pretty princess locked in the tower. Needs rescue. And yet, the hero here, the damsel in distress, I'm going to rescue her. He doesn't even know whether she's got a key to get out, or whether she wants to come out. Some people just think they should be rescued. And just between us, don't tell anybody else. An executive coach, which is one of the things I do, a risk for an executive coach is that they can adopt the position of rescuer and make the managers they work with feel like they need to be rescued. And that's the worst thing we can do, make them feel they always need to be rescued. The people here, along this bottom, they think they're better than anybody else. They're better. And they're smarter. This whole thing is destructive. It is to be avoided at all costs. The persecutor is like an emotional vampire. Sucks the energy out of it all. Don't laugh, because everybody in this room at some time or another during the day is an emotional vampire. We all do it. And this person's always looking to rescue something. So imagine the situation where I go home and I walk into the house, 6 o'clock at night, my wife's there, my son's there, and my wife is giving my son a hard time because he's not keeping his room tidy. And I say, give him a break, he's been at school all day. So I've immediately presumed that he needs to be rescued. And then my wife's the villain. And then my son's a victim. But what happens if my son turns around and says, Dad, butt out, this is between Mum and me. I've immediately gone from being a rescuer to a villain. And my wife probably perceives herself as a victim. And she turns around and gives me a hard time for interfering. I've immediately gone all the way around the triangle. So when you're not directly involved in something and you choose to put yourself into it, it is completely destructive. It is there are no winners out of this. It's quite a sophisticated complication because it can apply to somebody can come and tell you a story about somebody else in the office. You can't get involved because it's hearsay. You don't know whether it's true or whether it's not. You go and talk to the person and this person thinks you're talking about them behind your back. You just can't win. So it's important that you understand how this works because at home and in the office this is very, very important. It's invaluable to understand the psychology of what goes on. So, because we don't have time to go into it, I've asked Angie to just take the lead and getting some groups together to work through some examples on this. There's heaps of stuff on the internet. Just Google the drama triangle and you'll be reading forever. It's a famous psychologist who identified this. It is really important in terms of understanding how people work together in teams or in family units. Happens all the time. All right? So don't worry if you're not quite with it. That's okay. It took me a few readings. But I just wanted to introduce the concept and put it down as something to be followed up later. This isn't a very good slide, but you'll see it better on the online when you look at the server. It's really how everything ties together: leadership, energy, alignment, all that sort of thing. So I'll just leave you to look at that. There are various leadership styles. You can be a visionary, you can be a coach, affiliative, I'm your best friend. You can be democratic, every decision's put to the vote. You can be authoritarian, saying you do, don't do as I do as I say. It's my way or the highway. You hear that all the time. You can be a really challenging leader, trying to extend the capabilities of the team, or commander. So there is no one style that is right. I'm a great believer in situational leadership, that depending on the circumstance, you adopt the leadership style that is appropriate for the circumstance. Sometimes there's only one thing that you're ever going to do. So what's the point of asking the team what they think? Because it doesn't matter what they think, you're still going to do what you do. There's nothing more demotivating than asking people for their opinions and then just ignore it. So if there's only one course of action, you just say, this is the only thing we can do, this is what I've decided, I just wanted to inform you. But never ask them for what they think. Right? So I'll leave you to read that. The one that's strongest, of course, is coaching. And here's a little diagram that shows you. So the more directive you are, telling people what to do, the less flexibility people have, the people in the team, and the less they feel responsible. You told me to do it, so I've done it. I knew it wouldn't work, but that's what you wanted, I've done it. That's called vicious compliance. Rewards, people feel less rewarded, and there's less commitment to the team. So you read these at the bottom end. If you're a coach, there's more flexibility, people have more autonomy, the responsibilities improve, everything's positive. So it's fairly easy to understand when you look at it. You look at it on the server. So I do commend you to do that. Now, we're almost at the time you've all been waiting for. As Henry Ford said, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, but working together is success.